This video is going to teach you about solar inverter basics. G'day everybody, Daniel here from GI Energy. Today I want to talk to you about solar inverters. So I'm going to explain to you exactly what a solar inverter is and how it works. Then we're going to go through the difference between a standard and a hybrid inverter. Then we're going to go through the difference between a string inverter and a microinverter system. We're also going to talk about power optimizers and what the differences are there. Then I'm going to go through brands that are good or that we perceive to be good if you're considering purchasing a solar inverter for your solar system. And then I'm going to give you a few things to really look out for to make sure that you don't make some common mistakes that people make when buying solar systems. So to start with, what is a solar inverter? Well, a solar inverter is a really crucial part of your solar system. It's the second kind of biggest component in terms of cost that you'll have to outlay if you want to get a fully working solar system. So typically your solar panels will sit on your roof. If it's a large array, sometimes they're obviously on the ground, on a ground mount. The solar panels are what produce the solar energy, converting energy from the sun into useful energy. That energy though will come down from the roof or from the ground mount array in DC current, which basically is a varied voltage depending on what the panels have been set up like on the roof. So the inverter plays the crucial role of taking that energy and converting it into useful energy that you can use in your home or business. So it will take the DC current at whatever voltage it is, providing that it meets the parameters of the input and the inverter, which a correctly designed system always will. And on the other side, the output of the inverter will give you 240 volt AC energy, exactly the same as what you buy from the grid. So it will be the same energy essentially as you're buying from your retailer and you're currently using in your home or business. So that's why the inverter is obviously very crucial. If it's a very efficient inverter, it will mean that there's very few losses while that conversion is taking place. If it's not a very efficient inverter, you can put in quite a lot of energy into one end and get a big loss, so you're getting a lot less out the other end because of that conversion. So efficiency is important. If it's a really reliable inverter, it's obviously just going to keep working throughout the years without any hiccups. If it's a less reliable inverter, then you might have replacements, issues, faults, degradation, things like that you don't expect. That can obviously hinder the performance and therefore the savings and the return on investment of a solar system. So the inverter is really important. There's a bunch of different types of inverters out there as well. The most commonly used inverter is called a string inverter. A string inverter is called a string inverter because your panels are wired in string configuration up on the roof or on the ground mount. So if you imagine, you might have as few as 5 or 6 panels connected in a string, up to even 15 panels or maybe even sometimes more connected in one string. That means they're all connected together and then they're wired in series, which means that each solar panel's voltage is added up to make a total voltage of that string. That string of solar panels is then basically wired down into the inverter in one block. So they're basically connected together, and you may have only one string, you may have multiple strings. Obviously with larger commercial arrays, there could be hundreds of different strings there going down into multiple inverters. So that's how a string inverter works. It means that you've got strings on the roof or on the ground going into the inverter. That energy is then converted by the inverter that way. There is something called microinverters. A microinverter works a little bit differently. It still converts the energy in the same way from DC to AC, and ultimately you're still going to get 240 volt AC out the other end. But a microinverter is usually per panel. So every single solar panel has its own microinverter rather than having a group together. So if you had 10 solar panels on the roof, you'd have 10 microinverters, one on the back of every panel. That means the conversion is done up on the roof and then it would be sent down into the home, obviously through the switchboard in the same way, so you can use it as useful energy. That's probably the two biggest differences. A microinverter is typically deemed to be slightly more efficient because if there's shade or dust or debris on one panel, it can affect the performance of a whole string of panels connected together. Whereas with a microinverter, obviously they're independent. Each panel has its own inverter. That being said, many years ago, the differences were probably a little bit more vast. Now with a modern day and a good quality solar inverter that's a string inverter, a lot of those issues with shade and debris have actually been combated. Not just with the inverter technology, but also with panel technology just becoming better and better at dealing with those things. That being said, again, that is the main difference. There's also a third device there that you may come across called a power optimizer. So a power optimizer typically works by having a similar device to a microinverter on the back of a panel, but it would still collect DC and take it down to a central inverter, which would then convert that energy. The difference would be that their panels are optimized on the roof, so they're still individually operational to a certain extent, albeit still with the conversion happening at the inverter, which is down on the wall. So that would usually be the most popular one is SolarEdge. There's also one called Tigo or Tigo, depending on how you pronounce it. Those are the two main power optimizers. They're good for, again, if you want to have that additional shade handling capability, they can be a little bit more beneficial. Additionally, if you really want to get granular with your monitoring, you can look at each individual panel with both a microinverter and an optimizer and have a look at how each panel is performing. Whereas with a string inverter, it's typically at string level or even array level. So those are the main differences between those products. Then we've also got hybrid inverters or standard grid connect inverters. So a standard grid connect inverter will basically just work with your solar panels. It will get that energy, make it useful, and if you have additional energy that you're not using, it will just sell it back into the grid. It will export it and you'll get some credits for the energy that's going back into the grid. So let's say between 12 and 1 o'clock you produce 10 kilowatt hours of energy, but you only use 8. The remaining 2 kilowatt hours will go back into the grid and you'll get some form of credit usually for for that energy going back. It's very minimal these days, that credit, so that's known as a feed-in tariff, and it's pretty low. But that's how a grid connect inverter works. It doesn't give you any capacity, obviously, to have a battery there, which would then allow you to store that energy. So a hybrid inverter can work with or without a battery, hence the name hybrid. So you could then have a battery connected to that hybrid inverter. So in that same situation, rather than getting those 2 kilowatt hours and sending it back to the grid for very little, you could take that same 2 kilowatt hours and put it in a battery. Collectively, then over the day, you could store 10, 20, 30, 40 kilowatt hours of energy over the whole course of the day, depending on how big the system is, how you use energy, and obviously how big your battery is. Then rather than selling that back at that really low rate during the day, you can use that energy at night time after your solar panels stop working to save more money. So that's how a hybrid inverter works. Just a note on that, if you don't have a hybrid inverter or you're not purchasing a hybrid inverter, it doesn't mean you can never install a battery. You can do what's called AC coupled batteries, which means that you can get batteries that basically connect to the AC side of the inverter. So remember, it was 240 volts AC, just like the grid power that came out of the output of the inverter. Basically, you can then connect a battery to that, and the battery then, inside its case usually, has all of the smarts, hardware and software needed to then make that energy obviously be able to get stored in the battery and used later. So not having a hybrid inverter doesn't mean you can't have a battery. Another note as well before I move on, just because you've got a hybrid inverter doesn't mean you can put any battery with it. There's compatibility there, just like anything. You have to make sure that the battery is compatible with the inverter. Usually it's quite a narrow range as well. It's either the same manufacturer or potentially a couple of different batteries that you can bolt onto a hybrid inverter. So just be aware of that as well if you are purchasing or if you have already got a hybrid inverter installed. I think that covers most of the different types of inverters. In terms of which brands there are out there which are good quality, obviously we're a solar company. We are therefore by nature a little bit biased to brands that we like. That being said, we understand that not everybody out there is a customer of ours or even a potential customer of ours, and the main purpose of these videos is just to give real good honest advice that will help you make an informed decision. So what I'm going to do is tell you the brands that we use and why, and then obviously go do your own due diligence and find a really good installer to offer some more bespoke, tailored advice for your current situation. So in terms of string inverters, the most common ones that we use at the moment are Fronius and Sungrow, and then also Sigenergy. So Fronius and Sungrow have been using a lot longer. Fronius is, I guess, renowned as being the premium brand of string inverter. Sungrow is a little bit more cost effective, but still really good quality. So Sungrow are the biggest inverter manufacturer in the world. They're really the leaders here in Australia in terms of how many are installed. And they also have really great support and great warranties. Fronius are there if you want something even that little bit more reliable, more efficient from a European manufacturer, and you don't mind paying a bit more. Sigenergy is a newer product. They still they manufacture a lot of batteries. They have a really good battery that we're installing a lot of at the moment, and you can install just their hybrid inverter by itself if you didn't want a battery yet, and then you can come and bolt on a battery later. Fronius and Sungrow also make hybrid inverters, so you don't have to just have a grid connect inverter with either of those brands. You can choose, and typically people are installing hybrid inverters, to be honest, if they're not installing a battery right now. There's, outside of those, there's probably 100 other brands, and honestly, most of them are probably to be avoided. Not saying that there's no other good ones out there. There are some other notable brands like SMA are a very good product. We used to use a lot of them. They've kind of faded off a little bit in terms of their presence here, but they're still a great product. And there's some others out there that are not terrible products, but unfortunately there are a lot of really cheap ones as well. So the ones that I've spoken about there are probably the most reputable ones. In terms of microinverters, the leading brand is Enphase. That's the only one that we've installed, and I don't know of any other major brands that are really taking up much market share there. They're very good. You will pay a little bit more for them because you're obviously buying an inverter per panel, and while they are small inverters and individually obviously the cost is nowhere near that of one main string inverter, collectively if you've got a larger array they do get a little bit more expensive. In terms of optimizers, we've already talked about SolarEdge and Tigo. They're the main two. Again, there's probably some other peripheral brands there that don't take up much market share, so they're the main two. I think that if you're serious about solar and you do want optimizers or microinverters, they're probably the ones to look at more closely. That covers, I think, the main brands. In terms of what to look out for, unfortunately, here in Australia, the solar industry has become more and more price focused and cost cutting by nature. It's a really low barrier to entry. There's loads of new companies always starting up, and also at the same time loads of companies going out of business all the time. We've been doing this since 2011, so I've seen it happen time and time again. The rebates, I think, are a part of the reason why it's such a transient industry, and it seems to be the easiest way of winning business is just going, how do we make it as cheap as possible? Okay, great, we've got this price point that's lower than others. Let's put a bunch of ads out advertising that price point. Let's sell as many systems as we can, and let's try and make some money. And then obviously liability can build up over time and companies can disappear. So things to look out for are basically making sure that you're getting a really good consultation prior to a quotation. So you should be getting asked about your load, you should be getting a system designed specifically for you, and it should be a detailed process. Yes, it will take a little bit of time on your end and on the consultant's end, but if you're going to invest in the largest electrical upgrade your home's ever going to get, it's probably worth spending the time with someone who knows what they're doing. So ask lots of questions, make sure they're designing it specifically for you, find someone that you can trust and that's reliable, that's been around for a while, has the correct insurances, do your ABN check, and just get the feeling obviously that you can trust someone's going to be there after the system has been installed if you need anything in the future. Solar inverters, like anything with a solar system, you can buy the best, installed by the best, and things can still go wrong. So you want to make sure that the warranties on the products are very good, but also the company that sold it to you and that's installed it for you is very good and is going to be able to be there to help, because things do go wrong. When they do, obviously you want that company to do everything they can to get it resolved for you as quickly as possible. And I think through that consultation period, if you ask those questions, you'll probably find out who is going to do that and who maybe won't be able to do that quite so well. I think that covers everything. If I've missed anything, please hit me up in the comments or send us an email. I'd be happy to help, obviously, with some more detailed information if you'd like some more. I'll also put a link in the description to this video to our battery guide, which is a concise, simple guide for people that are looking to buy batteries. It covers off some stuff about inverters in there as well. So there'll be a link there. It's a free resource that I think some people have found quite helpful. And yeah, other than that, thank you very much for taking the time to watch.